Yeah, I think so. Let's talk about the polls now. Where are they at? The national polls and those 6 or 7 swing states that are so crucial here.
Oh, it's great. We haven't had really good polling yet since the big conviction, right? We've had some preliminary polls. They've started to come out in the last 24 hours, and they're all over the place. So if you're the Republicans, you can look at polling and say, oh, well, Donald Trump hasn't lost any votes. And if you're the Democrats, there's some polling out there saying, well, Joe Biden sort of closed the gap. But the margins, Laura, are so narrow. Yes, there are some significant margins now in some of these swing states. There's some suggestions that Trump might be up by as many as 5 percentage points in Arizona. That's a big deal. More than 10 percentage points in Georgia. That's a big deal. But overall, the polls haven't changed much, and it's still an extraordinarily tight race. What does this tell us? Either people have already made up their mind either for or against Donald Trump before the conviction, and the conviction didn't move the needle at all, or he's lost some votes because of the conviction and he's gained some votes because of the conviction. How would that work out? There might be white suburban housewives in the Midwest who don't want to vote for a convicted felon, but at the same time, maybe there are folks in the minority community now who think that Donald Trump can empathize with them and their interrelationships with the government and how they don't trust the government as much in a way that Joe Biden cannot. So whatever the cause, the polls have not moved much, and I don't expect them to, at least until that first debate, which is now coming up with us in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, I just think the biggest danger for Joe Biden ahead of November is that, yeah, perhaps people have made up their mind, but once it gets into a campaign proper, Mick, he needs to be out there each and every single day. And we've sat here week after week talking about his cognitive ability, the way, he makes missteps, seems, off with the fairies sometimes. That's going to be the biggest impediment for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I think y'all actually covered it more in Australia than we did here, but
Really?
his behavior at the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion
That's
was
right.
just
That's what I'm thinking of.
stunning, just stunning. And that didn't get a lot of attention here. Look, the Democrats know this. Everybody knows this. Joe Biden was never that great of a campaigner in the first place. He won in 2020 in large part because he didn't have to campaign because of COVID, and everybody expected him not to campaign. It was okay in 2020.
Yeah.
Now in 2024, it's harder to justify. But at the same point, if I wanted to make the case, if I wanted to make the argument for why Joe Biden might not be out on the trail, he is the president of the United States. Jimmy Carter did this in 1980. He ran what's called a Rose Garden campaign, where he essentially campaigned from the White House. He got beat, so no one's tried it since then. But you may see Joe Biden doing more and more of that as we move into the summertime and certainly the fall, which is, I'm the president, I'm going to campaign, I'm going to do it virtually, I'm going to do a lot of social media, but I don't have time to go out into the swing states and so forth because I'm so busy here in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
There's a chance of that happening.
But he needs other Democrats to go out and do that in the swing states. So who are the proxies? I mean, they can't send Kamala Harris to those 6 or 7 swing states because she's not entirely popular there. So who does that? Is there, someone that... Yeah, sorry.
Typically in this country, it would be the other high-ranking members of your party. But keep in mind, there's some very high-profile Senate races in this country this year, and there's 5 or 6 Senate Democrats who are actually in states that Donald Trump is very, very strong in. And they don't want to be associated with Joe Biden. There are actually some good polling data out today showing that 5 or 6 of these senators are 5 and 6 or 7 points ahead of Joe Biden in their home state, which means that Joe Biden can probably only drag them down. Yeah. So it is going to be difficult to get surrogates. It's going to be difficult to get that Biden message out there. But again, most people probably have made up their mind already between Biden and Trump. It's a question of who shows up. And importantly, again, I keep coming back to this, how these debates go at the end of this month.
Yeah, absolutely. But still, thousands upon thousands of people are still turning out in the heat to see Donald Trump like he's a rock star. November is going to be fascinating. Mick Mulvaney, we will see you soon.
Thanks, Laura.